For like 30.
All right, so we're all here. Taco, Quinn, Brian, Nick, and myself.
Show your face.
We're going to Wheaton City Hall later. All right, here we are. Quinn, Nick, Brian, and Yaka. We're here. So, guys, what about that meeting the other day?
Oh, the Wheaton Police and Fire meeting?
Yeah, that one.
I actually found it to be pretty by the books and a lot more boring than I thought it would be. You know, with the name Police and Fire, I really expected a lot more interesting things to go on, but it was a pretty by the books meeting.
Yeah, most of the time they were just voting and taking roll call on things, and everything was really simple. I mean, there was like 3 people voting on things.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be a lot more interesting stuff, considering that the chief of police and chief of the fire department were there, but yet they didn't discuss much more exciting things than approving minutes from their last meetings.
Yeah, it was a little vague about what they were talking about sometimes. I mean, I feel like if we knew more, then that might be better, but overall, I did expect a little more interest.
Yeah, so some of the things that they did at the meeting, I remember that they approved some of their payments for their old bills that they've gone over, some of their bills for new police cars and new additions to the fire department.
And that was run mostly by the secretary.
Yeah, there was a lot of secretary there.
They also took firefighters off of their pension.
Oh, don't forget the minutes either.
Oh.
Yeah, they approved their minutes from old meetings of past meetings, and then they just approved what they took and how their decisions affected everybody. They approved all that stuff.
And they also discussed how, well, on the agenda it stated that there were regular meetings and special meetings. Did anyone pick up on the difference between a regular or special meeting?
I couldn't say I did.
Is a special meeting just sort of kind of a meeting that wasn't planned in the agenda and they had to meet just to discuss
A little bit
matters?
of impromptu meeting there, kind of just one that wasn't regularly scheduled but needed. Was faced by a decision that needed to be made quickly.
I think we could all agree that the main subject of the meeting was taking the policemen and firemen off their probation period and onto the regular force.
Yeah, I remember that they took 3 policemen off of the probationary period and then 2 firefighters off the probationary period.
And they were just really supportive of all their staff members and just wanted the best for them.
Yeah, I felt like the fire chief and the police chief were super supportive of the police and firemen, and they really were looking forward to them getting out in the force and on the field.
Yeah, so the probationary period is what the police and firemen have to go through after graduating from their police and fire academies. So they're all on, I think it was a year.
A year. I was about to ask if anyone knew how long that period was.
It was about a year probationary period that they had to be on in order to be approved to become a full member and receive the full pay and benefits. Bless you, Hunter. And receive the full payment and benefits of being a firefighter and policeman. So that was pretty exciting. There were new graduates from last year's class, so that was pretty exciting.
Also, the firefighter eligibility list, they also had to approve.
Oh yeah,
for those.
Yeah, they had to approve all of the new statuses that they had to become in order to become a firefighter of the city of Wheaton.
Going back to the probation period, I think the secretary mentioned that while they're on probation, the policemen and firefighters had to shift from different locations to be watched by different
units
and leaders to make sure there were several people watching how well they were doing their job.
Making sure that everybody approved of them and that they were able to go through their duties. And yes, I remember her saying that the probationary period also is a time for them to just prove themselves, see if they can become full members of the force.
It was a lot of approving of people. I mean,
Yeah.
all the minutes and
Approving minutes, approving bills, approving people.
Seemed like a pretty basic meeting, except for the closed meeting that we weren't able to attend.
They also had to approve of their closed session minutes.
And we weren't able to see that part, so I'm just kind of curious as to what they were talking about. But it said it was, from what I remember, they were saying it was something about payments and salaries of specific officers, so they didn't really want us to hear about that because it's their own private matters, and so that's why we couldn't hear about it.
The secretary mentioned that it was more personal issues, so they wouldn't want just students. walking on that.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably some people who were in trouble with the law
Yeah.
and had to be discussed about their outcomes and probably some of their charges for what they've done. So we had to leave at the after 15 minutes of them discussing, we had to leave because they went into closed session.
I think overall the meeting was pretty tedious and just regulatory, and they were just approving things. And I was pretty impressed with how easily everyone approved of things.
Yeah. I actually went to a meeting over the summer at the Wheaton Historic Commission, I believe it was, and I expected the meeting to kind of run like that, because at the meeting I went to over the summer, it ran well over an hour, and there was a lot of dissent and discussion as to multiple things, and a lot of just more bickering from that group opposed to this one. It was just very fluid in this one, quick, straight to the point, and I was really surprised because I expected it to go a lot longer than it actually went.
What else would they bicker about? Like
In the Historic Commission?
Yeah, like, I mean,
Well,
doesn't seem
there
like
was, I won't get into it because that's not what we're supposed to be talking about. There was just some problems with where they wanted to store some records, and there was a lot of dissent over that.
Okay.
But in this one, there wasn't really anything like that. It was basically, these people are off their pensions now.
Yeah.
Not pensions, these people are off their probation, and it was a pretty regulatory meeting.
Yeah.
So.
I didn't see much to argue over in ours.
Yeah.
but-
Yeah, I think it also helped that there was only a few members. There was about 6 people other than the police and fire commissioners, so that was nice that. And then the secretary really didn't have any opinions, so she was just recording everybody else's thoughts. So it was nice that there was only 6 people there. I don't know how many people were on the historic commission. Do you remember, Brian?
It was roughly this. I actually think it might have been a little bit smaller,
really?
but they were
wow.
they had a lot of opinion, and it just went on for a lot longer. There was actually, there were some older, more, I think more experienced people that just had more to say
Right.
in it than these people did. I mean, not saying these people weren't old and experienced, but I don't know.
They just had.
What do you think? What do you think some of the other things this board would discuss in the other meetings that we weren't able to go to?
Well,
I mean, the closed meeting, or
What do you think some of the other
Yeah,
topics they
any other
discussed
topics that they would be discussing.
as a fire and police?
Well, I just gotta say that they'd probably be talking about, along the lines of fire and police probation, and that like.
it's. I'm sure there's some different. I'm sure there's a lot of like different things that happen each meeting, but I doubt there's anything that's like really crazy or
Yeah.
out of the
I'm
ordinary.
Sure, it's
a lot.
too.
Like we said, it was just a lot of approving stuff. They would probably approve like new additions to the police department or like new equipment that
Because
they buy.
well, any of the things that I was thinking we'd hear about, like actual police action and fire, I'm sure they discussed that somewhere else at the station,
Yeah.
and they wouldn't have
Closed meeting.
allowed us.
Yeah, they
Closed
definitely-
meeting, and they definitely wouldn't have allowed us to hear it.
Especially in an environment like Wheaton, there probably isn't
Yeah.
too much issues with the police department
Yeah.
and the fire.
Yeah.
You can say that again.
And if they were to let us know word we get around, that's probably why they wouldn't want us to hear everything, all the closed stuff. But I was just kind of surprised how straightforward everything was. Everything was really concise. We were out in 15 minutes, not including their closed session. But at that time, I noticed that the fire commissioner left also, so I don't think it was that.
Wasn't a very pressing meeting.
No, it really wasn't. But I was just impressed by how quick everything ran, and how easy it was for everybody to get along, and how for everything to get done in a community government.
Yeah.
I think we can all pretty much agree that this board is just kind of, their main purpose is just to make sure everything's going all right, but they probably don't come across many problems.
No.
No.
Just
no.
regulation of
Yeah, just regulation of
Yeah.
the police and fire department, not actually dealing with their
and policies
Yeah,
and
not
stuff.
dealing with their protocol or arrests or anything like that.
Yeah. So they're just kind
Yeah.
of background people. So
It was a pleasant meeting to attend.
Pleasant meeting indeed.
I'd say.
You're good.
All right. Could you please state for me your name and age?
Will Geiselhardt, I'm 17 years old.
All right. Would you consider yourself to be liberal or conservative?
Conservative.
Do you believe that marijuana should be legalized?
Yes.
Do you believe that gay marriage should be legalized?
Yes.
Do you believe that abortion should be legal?
No.
Do you believe that Americans should have unrestricted gun rights?
Yes.
Do you think that everyone should have universal health care?
No.
All right, well, that's the interview.
Awesome.
Awesome.
Alright, so our first person that we interviewed was Will, and he was 17 years old, and he said that he was conservative. And based on his answers, I think that he was actually a little bit more moderate than he led on to be. He said that he was completely conservative. But he said that he believed that marijuana should be legalized, and that was a kind of a liberal-based thing to say. And he also said that gay marriage should be legalized also, and that is also a liberal answer. So I think he's a little split because he did say that abortion should not be legal, and he also said that Americans should have unrestricted gun rights, meaning they can have whatever gun rights they want. And he also said that not everyone should have health care, so he was kind of split down the middle between liberal and conservative.
I'm ready.
All right.
You're videoing?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, is that
Just
okay?
so you get the words right?
Yeah, exactly.
For the project. Would you please state your name and age?
My name is Jean, and I'm 62 years old.
All right. Now, would you consider yourself to be a liberal or a conservative?
Liberal.
Do you believe that marijuana should be legalized?
Maybe.
All right. Do you believe that gay marriage should be legalized?
Yes.
Do you believe that abortion should be legal?
It is legal.
Well, do you believe that it should be legal?
Yes.
All right. Do you believe that Americans should have unrestricted gun rights?
No.
And do you think that everyone should have universal health care?
Yes.
So for one of our interviews, we interviewed this lady named Jean who claimed that she was 62 years old and also claimed to be liberal. On the issue of legalizing marijuana, she said maybe. And she believed that gay marriage should be legalized, and she also believed that abortion should be legal. And she said that Americans should not have unrestricted gun rights. She also thought that everyone should have universal health care. Based on her answers, we can conclude that she is a liberal.
You good?
All right, yep.
All right. Could you please state your name and age, please?
Sure. My name is Buddha.
All right.
And I'm 22.
All right. Now, would you say that you're liberal or conservative?
I would say it depends on the issue.
Well, I guess we'll find out then. So, do you believe that marijuana should be legalized?
Let's say yes.
All right. Now, do you believe that gay marriage should be legalized?
Let's say no.
All right. Do you believe that abortion should be legal?
No.
All right. Do you believe that Americans should have unrestricted gun rights?
Yes.
And do you think everyone should have universal health care?
No.
So our next person that we interviewed was Brigham, I believe her name was, and she was 22 years old, and when we asked her if she was liberal or conservative, she said it depends on the issue. And when we interviewed her, she said that marijuana should be legalized, gay marriage should not be legalized, abortion shouldn't be legal, Americans should have unrestricted gun rights, and that everyone should not have universal health care. So, judging by these answers, you'd think stereotypically that she's a liberal, but we actually found out that she tends to be more conservative on her answers.
Good answer.
I am.
Would you please state your name and age for us? What?
Am I allowed to say my name?
Just for a second.
Just for a sec.
Leslie.
All right. And age, please.
Oh, really? Oh, 47.
All right. Now, would you say that you're liberal or conservative?
Probably leaning towards conservative.
All right. Do you believe that marijuana should be legalized?
No.
Do you believe that gay marriage should be legalized?
I'm not sure about that one.
All right. Do you believe that abortion should be legal?
No.
Do you believe that Americans should have unrestricted gun rights?
Not unrestricted, no.
And do you think everyone should have universal health care?
Yes.
All right.
Awesome.
So the next person we interviewed was Leslie, and she was 47 years old, and she claimed to be a conservative. So for her answer, she said no to the legalization of marijuana. She said maybe for gay marriage being legal. She said no for legalization of abortion. She said no to unrestricted gun rights, and then she said yes, that everyone should have universal health care. So from her answers, it seems that she's more of a moderate than a conservative, because she answered liberally for gay marriage, which was either way for her, but also for gun rights and health care. So it seems that she's more of a moderate than a conservative.
Hi, could you please state your name and age?
Bob, 71.
All right. Would you consider yourself to be liberal or conservative?
Conservative, fiscally, liberal, socially.
All right. Now, do you believe that marijuana should be legalized?
I don't believe it should be made.
All right. Do you believe that gay marriage should be legalized?
Yeah.
Do you believe that abortion should be legal?
Legal and rare.
All right. Do you believe that Americans should have unrestricted gun rights?
Absolutely not.
And do you think that everyone should have universal health care?
I don't think it's a bad idea. So.
And the last guy we interviewed was Bob, who is 71, and he claimed to be economically conservative, yet socially liberal. But he said, he said marijuana should not be legal, gay marriage should be legal, abortion should be legal, that Americans definitely should not have unrestricted gun rights, and he doesn't think that universal health care is a bad idea. So, based on his answers, he definitely seems to be economically liberal, not conservative, and also socially liberal. So, it seems like he might have had part of his answer backwards.
The nerve of some people.
What a great citizen! We believe this video is to have shown citizenship. As you can see, one man throws his trash out of the car with no regard for his community, while another selflessly picks the trash up and throws it away. It's not his trash, but he has regard for his community and a will to keep it clean.
Hey, kid! Get away from me, Hal! What are you doing? Hal! Thanks, mister. Oh, no problem, man.
This video shows the Medal of Honor trait Courage, because it shows a teenager getting mugged by a man running out of the bushes. A bystander sees this and decides to step in and beats up the mugger, who is clearly larger and has a weapon. Now, this video shows courage because the bystander did not care about his own personal safety, but rather the safety of the teenager, and would sacrifice his own health and safety to ensure that.
Hey bro, you care to relax?
Nah, man, I got my AP government test on Tuesday.
Wow.
Chose this video to portray commitment because, as you can see, one student walks up to another who is studying and asks him to play lacrosse. The studying student calmly declines and tells the other student that he is studying. This video shows commitment to schoolwork and dedication to getting the best grade.
Oh, look, free cookies! Out of the way!
This video portrays sacrifice because it shows an unaware citizen reaching for a box of cookies in the middle of the road while a car is coming towards him. Another citizen sees this and pushes the unaware citizen out of the way in front of the moving vehicle and gets hit by the vehicle. His selfless actions saved the other citizen's life.
Oh, beautiful for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountains, majesties above the fruited. Oh! I didn't see you there. Gosh, I love my country.
This video exhibits patriotism because it shows a man dressed in very American apparel and very adamant about his country, as you can tell by his singing of American songs. He also tells the camera directly that he loves his country. This is how this video shows patriotism.
Here we all are.
Now, what is this class for?
AP Government.
Okay. Now, what is AP? American?
It's
Police.
advanced
Oh.
Government.
It's like, it's a college level course
Yeah.
Oh,
essentially,
okay.
and in a week we're going to take an exam, and if we get a certain score on the exam, we can get college credit. So
Great.
yes,
Terrific. Okay. Are you all seniors or what?
Juniors.
Juniors. Okay. All right. Well,
All right. Well, simple first question. Could you state for us your name and position?
my name is Gail Hinkle, and I am the township clerk, and I have been the clerk since 2008. My predecessor, Arlene DeMott, actually quit in the middle of her term, and I was her assistant, and so I kind of took over, and then I ran for office, won, and then I just recently ran again for office and won my second term. So I'm in for 4 years, and so,
What are your specific duties as the county clerk?
okay. As the county, or not the county clerk, the township clerk,
Township
there's a
clerk.
big difference between
Okay.
county and, he gives a lot of money, I don't, okay? I'm gonna give you each a flyer you can take,
Okay.
because this gives information
Thank you.
on everybody.
Thank you.
But basically, I am the custodian of all the records. I keep, you name it, I know where the claims are, that we have monthly claims. We have the highway department materials I keep. I'm a secretary to the highway department. Every month, we have a township board meeting, and I am the secretary to that board meeting. So I have to take the minutes, and then I have to write them, and then I have to have them written out, then they have to okay them, or they have to vote on them to accept them. And so every month, I have to do that. So basically, a custodian. I'm also a FOIA officer. I don't know if you know what that word means.
I do not.
Well, actually, it kind of started from a gentleman in Wheaton, Illinois. He FOIA'd District 200. He wanted to know, we, a long time ago, had a superintendent, and he wanted to know how much money that gentleman was making. And the District 200 said, no, we're not going to tell you. And he thought, well, that's not right. You know, he's a public servant. We should know. So anyway, long story short, it became law. It's called Freedom of Information, which means anyone, including you can write me a note, you can email me, or you can call me on the phone or fax me and say, Mrs. Hinkle, I would like to know, let's say the last 10 meetings that you were at. I'd like to see all those minutes. And by law, I have to give them to you. So sometimes it's a hassle, because sometimes they ask you for ridiculous things that may take me hours, if not days, to find. Because we have boxes upstairs stored with a lot of documents, and I have to go through them all. And it's just a hassle. So anyway, a FOIA officer. I also am the head of the voter registration, so when you turn 18, come over here, we can register you to vote, and then I submit it to the Board of Elections, and then you'll get your little card in the mail, and then you are a registered voter. So basically, that's what I do.
Okay. Now, what initially got you into the field of government and politics? Like, what made you want to pursue this career path?
You know, it's in my blood.
Really?
My great-grandfather was James S. Perrinet. He was the second mayor of Wheaton. And you will see his picture in the city hall. My father was also very involved in politics, in local government, city government. He was also a trustee of Milton Township. So I became a precinct committeeman many years ago. I don't know if you know what a precinct committeeman is. Okay. That's all right. Milton Township has 109 precincts. Is it getting too hot in here? Are you good? All right.
It's all right.
Okay. All right. I'm blowing it up.
No.
Anyway, every precinct has a person to represent that precinct. And so I live in precinct 74. So I'm responsible for getting all the political literature out to my people in precinct 74. And so that's where I started. And then I just started working here at the township part-time. And then one opening occurred, then another, and then here I am as the clerk. So anyway, I do love politics. It can be stressful. Yeah, it can be. We all don't get along.
Right.
It's not a, I mean, it's a world that, you know, you have to try to get along, but there are times when you can't. Anyway.
Branching off of that, do you have anything in particular you like about this job? Like, what would you say your favorite part is of your job?
I can make my own hours, which is really nice. I work in the mornings. I take Fridays off. But I sometimes come in Saturdays or Sundays to work, where no one is here.
Right.
And it's so quiet, and I get a lot done.
Yeah.
So, like, I was here at 6:15 this morning because no one was here.
Yeah.
And I got a lot done. And so, anyway, that's basically, I hate to tell you, but that's,
Well,
the pay's lousy, but the hours are great.
that's great.
Yeah.
Do you, could you briefly describe for us the election process that the process it is to become the town clerk, the election?
Okay. I belong to the Republican Party, so what we have is called a caucus. The Democrats have their caucus. I'm sure you've heard of that. We just had a caucus in December. And that's when Republican committeemen get together, the Democrat committeemen get together in their caucus. And if there's a Green Party, they have their caucus. If there's an independent group, they have their caucus. They pick who they want to run for office. We have the clerk, we have the supervisor, we have the assessor, we have 4 trustees, and we have the highway commissioner. So all those positions have to be picked by our caucus group. Then that group will run for the election, which we just had in April. So that's how the process is.
Interesting.
Yeah. It's a lot cheaper using a caucus method than going through primary.
Yeah.
Primary, you're spending thousands of
Really?
dollars. Caucus, it's hundreds.
It's a gathering.
Yeah, it is. It's a
Everybody,
gathering.
yeah.
I mean, I think we had, where did we have ours? Gosh, my mind. I know the Democrats had theirs in a home.
Oh, really?
We had a little bigger group.
Yeah.
So we had ours at the fairgrounds.
Oh, really?
So we
Oh,
had to rent that out, rent the chairs. I mean, it was just a couple $100, nothing.
Is everybody, like all the citizens of Milton Township, are they able to come to this caucus?
If you are a Republican, you can come to the Republican caucus, okay? If you're a Democrat, you go to the Democratic caucus,
Okay.
okay? And you have to be a registered voter
Oh,
too.
okay.
Do you ever feel pressure from the public? I know you said that people can email you with issues or problems they're having. So do you ever feel pressure from the public in making decisions, or are you largely just kind of go from your own inhibition?
You know, I have a very good supervisor, Chris Hydorn, and he and I work very well together. So if I ever have a major problem that I can't handle, like a FOIA, like I'll just go, I don't know how to answer this, or where am I going to get the information from? I can go to him, And he and I work together, and he more or less helps me, and I help him.
Yeah.
So he's my what do you call it? My go guy. I just go to him. So really, he's a nice guy.
Yeah.
By the way, his wife just passed away,
Oh,
so
no,
it's
that's
been
very
very,
sorry.
very tragic. She's
Yeah.
very, very young.
Wow.
So anyway, he's having a rough time, and we're all trying to continue on,
They do, yeah.
just make do with what you. So
Yeah.
anyway, he would be the ideal person to interview, and I was thinking of him, but I thought
He's got a lot on his
he's
plate.
got a lot on his
Perfectly
plate.
fine.
Yeah.
So you got me. I'm sorry.
Oh, that's
Perfectly
fine.
No problem at all.
Do you, just kind of a quick question, could you ever see yourself running for a higher position like mayor, or do you
No.
think this is,
No.
yeah, that's just, this
No.
is
No.
as high as you want to be?
Yeah.
This is a nice position. All right. What was your previous work experience before this job? Was it either government, non-government?
School teacher.
Really? Where did you teach?
Winfield Elementary. And then I taught preschool in Warrenville. And so
Yeah.
that's what I did. So,
Interesting. Last question now. What do you believe the role of government should be in society? As in, how involved do you think they should be in society's day-to-day life?
well, frankly, I think government is too involved in our lives.
Yeah.
I'm not at all happy with our federal government. I'm not happy with the direction it's going. Not because of who's in office, it's just the philosophy of their thinking I just do not agree with. I think the less government, the better it is for us.
Yeah.
For instance, the morning after pill. The federal government is making it for a 15-year-old girl to go to a pharmacy and pick up a pill without her parents' consent. Whereas she cannot go to high school and take an aspirin. She has to have her parents there with an aspirin. Now, the federal government, to me, is taking the role of a mother and father. The mother and father should be responsible for that 15-year-old,
Right.
saying, yes, you can take it, or darn no, you don't take it. So you just, anyway, that's how I feel.
Yeah.
Anyway, by the way, township government is the lowest government to the people. It's, to me, it's the least invasive. It's, for our township alone, let's say, our budget is balanced, we live within our means, we have never been over budget. If we have, we cut way back, and I mean way back. Just a couple months ago, we all decided, hey, no one's salaries are going to increase for the next 4 years. We have to live within our
Right.
means. It's getting rough out there. It's harder. I mean, I just saw my paycheck in January, and it went way down. And I thought, more and more taxes are being they're taking out of our paychecks. So I'm just telling you that Milton Township is a very, even though I work here, it's just very reliable.
Okay.
Especially our highway
Really?
department. I just quickly wanted to show you, you can take this with you. This is a pie chart of the taxing body in DuPage County. Now, the large blue area, most of the taxes go where?
It's a little dark. Schools.
The schools. 72.5% of our taxes go to school. For the township, it's 1.7%. So I'm just letting you know that the majority of our taxes go to schools. And I'm not saying that's wrong, I'm just saying that, a lot of people say, well, but, get rid of township government, it's useless.
It's the
It's
one-
not,
yeah.
it really isn't, because we have what's called a highway department, Gary Mufeld, and the Mufelds go to
Yes.
North.
Yes.
He is an awesome guy. He's a hands-on guy. I mean, he doesn't sit behind a desk and tells whomever to do what.
Right.
He's out there working
Oh,
with
really?
the guys. There's only 8 full-time guys working on his staff.
Wow.
And there's 85 miles of road that he has to take care of year round.
So they manage everything within the Milton Township?
Exactly,
Wow.
exactly. And in the wintertime, they have to plow.
Wow.
And of course, in the summertime, we have floods, we have tornadoes,
Right.
only
All
8 guys.
responsible for that.
And I tell you, this guy's awesome because he has done a terrific job. He was the #1 vote getter
Really?
in our last election, because he's so well liked.
Yeah.
He really is. He's a little stubborn because he's German, but other than that, that's okay. But that's something we can take.
Okay. And how far does Milton Township extend? How big is its
Okay,
jurisdiction?
you know what? I can tell you that. I think here, I know the boundary lines. Maybe it tells you how many miles we. You know, I should